Hello all, and welcome to my next video here on the rooftop two-headed cow caravan of treasure and sometimes barter. Um, yeah, so fascinating. I don't know if what's a good way to describe this? I still don't have a name for this, so I don't know what I'm really going to call this yet. We'll figure it out as we go. Anyway, um, in the last video, I talked about the British Bulldog LJNs I got, and we kind of compared them to Cody. For a brief second, just to kind of get a size comparison between how those AEW LJNs and classic LJNs are going to stack up. Size-wise, they look pretty good. The skin tone and everything, totally off. I guess it's just going to depend on who it is in that regard. But funny enough, I did that Bulldog video last night, and today while I was at work, this box came in, and it's more LJNs. A lot of LJNs, actually. If I'm not mistaken, it's like 9 LJNs. It's like 9 or 10. They are kind of packed into a box, so I'm hoping they're okay in there. So we'll find out. But yeah, more LJNs, eh? I'm interested. I want to come up with a name for this. Like, if I get something old, what should I call it? I don't know, like a retro unboxing? We'll figure it out. If you have an idea for a name, please leave it in the comments. But we're going to jump right into this. I'm super excited. This one had a lot of... I found a guy, and I kind of messaged him and through Instagram, and he had a lot of ones I wanted. And I was like, hey, man, if like I take XYZ, these ones I want, like, can you cut me a deal? And he was like, yeah. And he was totally fair about it. He even like refunded me like half of the shipping because it ended up not being like what he thought it was. Like, he was really fair about everything. So really excited. Like I said, my only concern is like the box is kind of really jam packed, and I'm hoping they're okay in there. So let's find out. I'm going to leave the box off screen just so I can like kind of turn around, grab one, show you. Oh, you know what? He kind of individually packed them. Thank you. Okay. I was afraid he could. Okay. The guy I got them from is like, I do try. He's part of like this Instagram group we're all in. So, and we don't let really, this is going to sound kind of messed up. We don't really let anybody into the Instagram group unless we can kind of trust them. So, of course, I trusted him, but I was just hoping he kind of like packed them within the box good, and he apparently did. So, I'm happy about this. It's kind of like the British Bulldogs. He packed them to a gallon sandwich bag, which is totally fine with me. So let's just go ahead and start with the top here. We have Don Morocco and Brutus the Barber Beefcake. So that is cool. Let's go ahead and get these guys open. The Don Morocco one is like one of those ones that I was like low-key really excited for. And he's in pretty good shape. Okay. Sorry, I was kind of looking at him off camera here. Okay. So there we go. We got Magnificent Morocco. I know I said Don the Rock Morocco. Magnificent Morocco. He looks really good. Everything looks pretty good. Little paint loss here on the back. Kind of like some dirt going on and grime here. He's got some scuffing on the front, but nothing too bad for sure. Yeah, nothing too bad. He's a little dusty. I'm not gonna lie. There's like some dust here on the head I was kind of wiping off a minute ago. But beyond that, he looks good. Like his tights look good. There's no paint loss there. The boots look pretty good, especially from the top here. Hair looks decent. I mean, he's missing some stuff, but hey, it is what it is. It's like a weird, it's like dust. There we go. He almost stands. Okay, maybe not. But there we go. We got Magnificent Morocco. I love it. Don Morocco is one of those dudes that's like from the 80s that's like really badass when you think about it. He's like Paul Orndorff. You don't really appreciate it until like, you know, he was retired and everything. Next up, we got Brutus the Barber. As a matter of fact, though, I don't think he's even the barber yet in this. I believe he's with Greg the Hammer Valentine at the time in a tag team. I might be wrong on that. Just kind of getting... These are like... They had a lot of dust on them. That's kind of where I'm like, okay, I need to... clear up some of the dust. Okay. There we go. So yeah, I think this is back when they had like that weird kind of... I don't know, I want to say it was like a male stripper gimmick, but it is what it is. Again, not in perfect condition, but I thought the tights looked good. Does have a little bit of paint loss on the ass, but that's okay. I mean, he was the booty man for a while, so you know what? Hey, a little bit on the bottom of the boots, but like, and the back of the boots, but standing him up, he looks pretty good here. On a better surface, he'll probably stand. Not here, but, yeah, like he'll stand on the other side of the table where he leans back a little bit. So he actually will stand, just not on, because this part of the table leans this way. The part of the table I sit on leans that way. So he will stand like kind of the closer you get him to the middle there. He looks good. He's got paint loss, but like I said, I don't think it's anything too crazy. The front of the hair here is a little off-putting, but again, I think he's a great placeholder for now. And yeah, I think you need a brood eye. Okay, so we got these two. Take a look who's next. Oh, so many. Who is this? Oh yeah, okay, cool. Nice. Okay, next ones. We've got Tito Santana and Roddy Piper here. Okay. Getting a lot of like dust and grime. Nothing that you can't get off with like a damp towel. Or your fingers, that's what I'm doing here. Tito's got a lot of stuff like in between his eyes. He's got crusties. It's dust, I know, but still. It's hard to get in like those little nooks and crannies to get it out. Alright, cool. So we got Tito. He looks really good. I think Tito's actually probably one of the better ones in this thing. Little minor paint chip on the ass, but he's good. Again, Tito Santana, one of those guys I don't think people really... like, I think there's like a growing appreciation for him now as opposed to before. But, cool. Good to have Tito. There's another Tito. There's a Strike Force Tito. We're going to be striking with force. If you've ever seen that promo. But there you go. Or is it Martel that says we're going to be striking with force? I don't know. One of them says we're going to be striking with force. So we're the Strike Force. Lightning Force or some stupid shit. But there we go. We got a Tito. The paint on him looks great. Like his knee pads even look great. A little bit of paint loss on the boots. A little bit with the hair up there. But like his eyebrows look good. The tights look good. This is like a really good in shape LJN. He stands over here, like the closer you get to the middle of the table. There we go. But like he won't stand here because this leans forward. Okay, this is one of the ones that this guy had that I really wanted. And I'll explain why here in a minute. Um, but we got the hot rod, Roddy Piper. If you're going to be doing an 80s WWF collection of anything, you better have a Roddy Piper in there. The biggest, in my opinion, the best heel of that era, probably. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of them. Orndorff when he turned, Ted DiBiase towards the late 80s, all that stuff. But, like, I mean, like, Hogan and Piper, right? Like, that defines that kind of mid 80s era. He stands perfect. Look at that. Nice. The main reason I got it was because even though he's got a little bit of titty flesh showing there, he's like in pretty good shape. Like his knee pads are good, the trunks are good, no paint loss on the back, a little bit of paint loss on the boots, a little bit on the hair, but beyond that, he looks fantastic. I'm okay with that because most of the Roddy Pipers that like people were offering me, or that because I had some people who were like, hey, I have this spare Piper LJN if you want to buy it off me. And they would send me pics. Or I would find one on eBay and look at it. And they were just trashed. Like, all the paint gone, you know? This was like the best one I've seen out of the ones I did see that's not like minty. So I really liked it. He does not have the kilt. But I know a guy who has a kilt. And I've been kind of negotiating back and forth with it. And it's an original kilt. So he's asking a lot for it. So we'll see what happens there. If I don't get that kilt, I guess I could always get a repo. I know there's a lot of people who will reproduction the kilt and just kind of stick it on there. I know that kind of sucks, but man, that kilt alone is pretty expensive. But there we go. Tito and an essential hot rod that looks great. So really happy about that. Oh, okay. Who do we have next? Yeah, okay. These are going to be good. We got Bruno Sammartino and Ted Arcidi, baby. I like how, like, I think it was an OSW review where, like, Ted Arcidi kind of started becoming, like, a meme in wrestling. Like, as well as, because he's in, like, the first WrestleMania 2 review they did or something. But also because on the Major Wrestling Figure Pod, they made a big deal out of the Ted Arcidi LJN, and like it was fantastic. Like every time I see Ted Arcidi, it's just like that's just a good looking LJN, even though he may not be that much like that remembered. Like it's a great looking LJN. So we'll start with him. Here he is. Look at it. He looks great. Other than a little bit of paint loss here and on the head, he looks fantastic. No paint loss on the back, really. You want to make a custom Conrad Thompson, cut the back of the mullet, and there you go. Now, I'm just going to tell you this. Please do not rip... oh, man, I shouldn't say that. If you buy stuff with your own money, I think you do have the right to kind of do what you want with it. But I've seen people, like, cutting up LJNs to make customs. And I'm just like, whoa. Like, I get, like, a weird feeling about that when I see it happen. But, he's got a Conrad Thompson thing going there. But other than the hair up there, he looks fantastic. And like the little paint loss on the strap, hell, we get that on Mattel's now. Yeah, the world's strongest man, baby, Ted Arcidi. I don't know why I love this so much. Looks great. And next up we have did wrestle a little bit in the 80s. Probably not somebody people expect like in the rock and wrestling era, but he did get an LJN. We have Bruno Sammartino. And I think this Bruno looks great. Look at that. No paint loss there. Nothing on the back. A little bit on the back of the head, but hardly noticeable if he's just up front. From just a front view, him and Ted Arcidi might be the best one so far. I don't know if he'll stand here. Back here? Oh, I got him to stand for like a brief moment. Hold on. There we go. Yeah. Nice. Okay, but there's our Bruno. Classic blue trunks, black boots. I like it. It's definitely old man Bruno. You can tell he didn't have the kind of bushy hair. It's the slick back kind of older Bruno. Um, it feels like it's the Bruno of the later 70s and early 80s, and then kind of going into a little bit of the mid 80s when he was like trying to help get his son over. Was it David San Martino? I can't remember. He had a son who tried to be a wrestler, never really worked out. But this Bruno reminds me of that era of Bruno San Martino, where he was kind of in his twilight years, and he was just there to kind of try to help get his son over. And he was like doing commentary and stuff. But cool. That Ted Arcidi. I don't know why the Ted Arcidi makes me smile. like it's Ted Arcidi. I'm so happy. Next one. Oh yeah, awesome. Okay. This is great. One of these is a little bit more busted than the others. This is probably going to be the worst one of the bunch, but at the same time, he was part of the set the guy was getting rid of, so I had it. But we have two here. We have Big John Studd and Terry Funk. We'll take a look at Funk first. Again, Terry Funk, kind of a weird one. You wouldn't expect to be like in the LJN line, but he was there just long enough to get a toy. So there you go. Looks pretty good. A little bit of paint loss here on the chaps and on the boots, but for the most part, pretty good. Hair has some paint loss, is what it is. The back looks really good. Again, a little dusty on the hair here. Like you can see where like the dust wipes off. But there you go. These must have been sitting on the shelf. He stands cool. I have not been able to find the branding iron at all, but I already have a guy who's sending me a hat. He was generous enough to basically just give me a Terry Funk hat. He was like, look, I buy a lot of LJN accessories when I see them, and he's like, I got like 3 or 4 of these hats, and just as a nice fellow collector that's in our Instagram group, he's giving me one, and I can't thank him enough. When I get the hat, I'll give him a shout out and everything. But I am getting the hat for the Terry Funk, but I still haven't found a branding iron to go with them. So if anybody knows of a branding iron I can get for Terry Funk, let me know. But he looks great. Again, not one of those ones you expect to like just be in the LJN line, but like happy he is, you know? So there we go. Next one. This is the one I was saying that's probably in the roughest shape out of this bunch. And when I see him online, he tends to be one of the more in rough shape ones anyway. But we have Big John Studd. He looks good. He does have a little bit of one of those like burn spots here on the shoulder. I'm not really worried about that. The knees are what kind of get me. The paint loss is what's getting me. The back, not so much. I mean, yeah, you can see some ass meat there, but hey. But the boots are in rough shape. And his knees and thighs are kind of going there. His hair is actually in really good shape. He's got a bald spot in the back there, and the face and eyebrows are mainly just the eyebrows, really. The rest of the beard's pretty good. Oh, he stands nice. He's definitely weighty too. But yeah, I mean, like I said, just as a placeholder for a while, I think he's great. It's just, a lot of the Big John Studs I find have that same problem. Just like, the knees are gone. But beyond that, I think he'll look good on a shelf for a little bit until I can find a better one. And thankfully, Big John Stud seems to be one of the cheaper ones around. So it shouldn't be too hard to find a better one at some point. But again, he was part of the lot the guy was going to give me. And I went ahead and got him. I was like, yeah, give me the Big John Stud too. So... Okay, next up we have... cool. There's one in here, I was not planning to get it all, but the guy threw it in there anyway as part of the set, which I think is kind of funny. But we have SD Jones, Special Delivery Jones, and Junkyard Dog. So, Cool. We'll take a look at SD Jones first. SD Jones appears to be in a little bit of rough shape here. But that's okay. Still looks decent. Okay. Oh, he might stand on this side of the table. He does. So he'll stand over here. He just won't stand up here. Anyway, oh, did he? Ooh! Shazam! Anyway, SD Jones in his polo golf shirt here. I know it's supposed to be like kind of like an islandy shirt, but hey, like a Hawaiian shirt. A little bit of paint loss on the boots. Nothing too bad here. The head the rest of them looks great. Other than the paint loss on the boots here, the rest of them looks pretty good. The back, he's got a little bit of holes in the undies there. And he does have this weird yellow spot on the back of his head. I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but I mean, it's not noticeable if you're just looking at him from the front here. But, surprisingly in pretty decent shape for an SD Jones. SD Jones, if you don't know who he is, best thing you can kind of say is SD Jones is kind of like one of the residential job guys. Lost to King Kong Bundy in like a record time at the first Mania and all that. He was Tony Atlas's tag team partner before Rocky Johnson. And then Rocky Johnson got slotted in that spot and they won the tag titles. But SD Jones, I still think he's kind of cool to have. I mean, yeah, he's a bit of a job guy, I guess you could say. But, I mean, it's cool. It's SD Jones. Why not? And somebody was asking me, like, are you going to get all the LJNs? No. There are some LJNs I have no real interest in, like, what's his name? The Australian dude. Outback Jack or whatever. I don't really plan on getting an Outback Jack. I'm deciding on whether I want to get a Corporal Kirshner, to be honest. I know on the Major Wrestling Figure Pod, they made Corporal Kirshner up to be this big thing because of the variance with the beard. But still. Okay, next up we have, just looking at it, like a very good looking JYD. A little bit of hair loss on the top and the eyebrows, but beyond that, no paint loss on the tights, like at all. A little bit of discoloring on the boots, like a little bit of paint loss on the boots, but nothing bad at all. Again, no chain or collar. I had a really hard time, that guy gave me he's sending me the Terry Funk hat, which I really appreciate. But even he was like, man, I can't find that dog chain and collar. He's like, I've been looking for it for a while. I think he has one, but he's never been able to find more. I was lucky enough to kind of find a guy online who makes customs for the collar and chain. So I might do that. I don't know yet. At least as a placeholder until I can find an original one by a reproduction. But look at this. This is a great looking JYD. The letters are all good. JY Dog. The logo looks good. The dog. Oh my god. He's in really good shape. I like this. This is one of my favorite ones so far, along with Ted RC. He stands well. Heck yeah. I think JYD is one of those guys that again, and then it goes for a lot of these guys. Like modern wrestling fans might not really know them well enough. Especially younger fans. And I'm a younger fan, to be fair, these guys were before my time. But anybody who knows me knows, I consider myself a bit of a wrestling historian. I've gone back and watched so much stuff. I've, tried to find as much footage of, Lou Thez as I can. A lot of Buddy Roberts and Buddy Rogers and all that stuff. And it's just, I really love the history of pro wrestling. And at one point in time in Mid-South Wrestling, Junkyard Dog was as over as Hulk Hogan. It's just a known fact. He was a megastar to those people. I mean, he could have walked on water. Seriously. JYD was over as hell. And he was over in WWE too. When he went to WWF, he stayed over. It's just, he wasn't the same JYD. He was bigger. He was older. They weren't going to push him because of the times, and it's just kind of one of those things. But he was still a major star. And during the territories, like in the 70s with Mid-South, JYD is a massive, massive megastar in Mid-South wrestling. Just a straight money grabber. So there you go. Great looking JYD. I got the Legends Elite a while back. I unboxed it. Check that out. Or have I not unboxed it yet? It might be sitting over there waiting to get unboxed. I don't remember. Oh, there's one that was not in the bag. Damn it. Oh, well, it still looks pretty good. Pretty clean. Again, dusty. Let me get some of this off. But hey. Okay, so this one was not in a baggie. Captain Lou. When you talk about managers of the 80s, I think Captain Lou's up there, man. I know he was around in the 70s too. But like, I don't know. I always think of the Cyndi Lauper stuff, that rock and wrestling age. And I always feel like Captain Lou's like just right in the middle of them there. Like the Goonies are good enough, But there you go. I love the shirt, that it's him on his shirt. And it looks good. Like there's no paint loss there. The only paint loss on this guy, well, his beard, the tip of his like beard there has got some paint loss, is on the back. And it's not that bad, thankfully. But the shirt is in excellent condition. I love it. He looks fantastic. I love Captain Lou, so there we go. There's some other managers in the thing, like Slick. You can get a Slick. The Doctor of Style Slick. I love Slick, man. I like the way he talked. He had like soulful kind of flow to him. There's a Freddie Blassie one. I don't know if I'm going to get the Freddie Blassie one. It feels kind of like the Bruno Sammartino thing. Like it's there, but he's not really during that time period per se. But hey, it is what it is. But I definitely wanted Captain Lou because I feel like him and Jimmy Hart for sure feel like the most 80s of the managers in this lot. And then you have Slick, and Slick feels a little bit more late 80s, early 90s. So I definitely want to get a Jimmy Hart for sure. And then probably a Slick. And then Mr. Fuji's there too, huh? Might get a Fuji at some point. We'll see. So there's three I don't have yet. Jimmy Hart, Slick, and Mr. Fuji. The only manager I have so far is Captain Lou. Okay, random one here. Oh, that's in the 2-pack. Okay, this one's packed in by itself. It makes me wonder if like Captain Lou was supposed to go in here, but he was fat and he didn't fit. But we got Hercules. Again, Hercules, one of those guys, like looking back, he looked awesome. Even after this, when he was in like the baby blue trunks, he looked cool. He was swinging the chain around. Oh, he's got a lot of dust. So much dust. What's going on? This guy must have kept yeah, there's paint loss, and some of them look like they've been kind of played with. And like Big John Studd looked like he got heavily played with. But for the most part, like I know some LJNs get like a weird sticky feeling to them. None of these have that so far, which is really impressive. But here we go. We got Hercules, aka Hercules Hernandez. I'm a big Hercules fan. Like I said, I just like the way he looked. I don't know much about him in the like actual like Hercules / Gladiator gear here. As far as like the actual figure though, he's got some paint loss up there. A little bit of paint loss here on the buckle. His knees got a little bit of it. Nothing too crazy, thankfully. And the back looks pretty good. A bit of a spot in the hair and there on the straps as well. But a little bit on the boots. But he looks pretty good for what he is. Is he going to stand? Hey, cool. So he does stand. But there we go. We got Hercules. This is when he kind of first shows up. He's wearing like this gladiator gear. You can kind of even see like the symbol there. Kind of cool. The H. Which actually, is it HH? I think it is HH, Hercules Hernandez. But yeah, I kind of am more familiar with Hercules when he cut his hair and he was wearing the baby blue trunks and he had the chain and was swinging it around. Like, what is it? Is it WrestleMania 4 or 5? Where he's like swinging the chain around and everything when he's like going to wrestle, I don't know, Dino Bravo or somebody. Somebody like that. Somebody weird like that. But there you go. I think it looks great. I like him. Like I said, Hercules is one of those like low key badass dudes. In real life, I heard he was like a badass dude too. So Jim Cornette's got a crazy story about how he slapped a man out of his shoes with like one open hand slap, and knocked him out of his shoes. Um, Glad to have him. Really glad to have him. I feel like Hercules Hernandez a while back, he was one that was like harder to find, but all of a sudden he's kind of one of the more easier ones to find. I might be wrong on that, but I feel like that's how that worked out. Okay, last pack here. How many did we get out of this? Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I was like, we got like 8 or 9. This box had 14. My bad. But we have, I guess you could say, the main event here. The last two. Ricky Steamboat and Randy Savage. You didn't think I was going to, like, not get one of the biggest stars of all time. I know Piper's over there, but, like, I had to get this Randy Savage because it looked like it was in pretty solid shape. We'll start with the Ricky Steamboat. Okay, he's got, like, a lot of dust on him. I'm going to have to take, like, a wet rag and just kind of, a damp rag, not a wet rag, and just kind of pat him down for dust on all these guys. They had a lot of dust. Thankfully, nothing crazy like mold or anything. But there we go. We got Ricky the Dragon. My main reason for getting this Ricky Steamboat was because most of the black paint is still on the pants. He's missing a little bit there on the booty, and a little bit on the knee, but for the most part, he looks pretty good. A little bit up front with the hair and the eyebrows, but I don't know. I feel like every time I see one of these Ricky Steamboat LJNs, they're missing so much paint. And this one looked like it had most of the paint, and it does, so that's pretty cool. He stands great. Look at that. Nice. A little bit on the bottom there, too. My one issue with this Ricky Steamboat, and it's kind of just an issue like with the design, not the figure itself, but the design. I wish they had given him something more colorful. I mean, Ricky Steamboat had a lot of colorful gear. I know at some points he wore solid colors. But I don't know. Like if you kind of just saw that figure, like a lot of them you can tell, like, oh, that's Randy Savage, that's Roddy Piper, that's Big John Studd, whatever. I feel like if you look at this one, it's kind of like, okay, who's that guy in the black pants? But I mean, it's Ricky Steamboat. It's his only LJN, so there we go. Looks good though. Okay, and last one. We have a pretty solid Randy Savage. Now, this is one of those ones where, like, I think this is going to be more of a placeholder until I can find a better one. But I thought it was, like, in decent enough shape that I was like, okay, that'll be a good first Randy Savage. Here we go. The star is a little messed up on the front. Like I said, I think it's going to work well as a placeholder. I don't mind it too much. You just have a little paint loss on the bottom of the boots there, a little bit on the knee. The hair is actually good. One of my main reasons I wanted this one actually was because he has most of the paint on his glasses. I've seen a lot of these where like the glasses are like almost gone. The paint's just almost gone. He actually has most of his, and that's actually one of the reasons I got it, was because a little bit of on the butt too. But yeah, my main reason was like he had all the paint on the glasses. So like from the front, you know, besides the star, he looks pretty good because he's got most of the paint on the glasses. Is he gonna stand? He's kind of like back heavy. There we go. Nice. But yeah, like just looking at him, besides the star, he looks fantastic. That's why I was so happy that this one had most of the paint on the glasses. But it looks great. I like it. He's a good placeholder. Good placeholder. So there we go. Yeah. A bunch of LJNs. Randy Savage, awesome junkyard dog. Random ass SD Jones, but happy to have him. Bruno. Where is he? Where's the man, the myth, the legend himself, Ted Arcidi? There we go. Ted Arcidi. Badass Hercules. Yeah. Roddy Piper. Random but pretty cool, Terry Funk. I mean, so many of them. Like I said, there were 14 in here, and I don't know why, I was like, yeah, there's like 8 or 9 in this box, and it turned out to be 14. Oh. And there's more on the way. These were all from the same guy, so thank you to him. I'll try to get his info and give him like a shout out or something. But yeah, he gave me a great deal on all of these. I know some of them aren't perfect, but I think for starting placeholders, they're going to be good. And I'm really excited about this. I really enjoyed this. I don't know why, like seeing Ted Arcidi over there just makes me pop. But I do have a different guy who's got some more on the way. He sold me, I think like 4 or 5 of them. But we got a Hogan coming in. I know, like, where's Hogan? Like, yes, I got a Hogan coming in. Don't worry. He'll be a part of that group. But yeah, thank you. This is crazy. Not exactly how I expected my first really big LJN haul to go down. I know before we looked at the British Bulldogs, which I think most of these are in better shape than those Bulldogs. Because that may be Big John Stud back there. But anyway, got the Bulldogs, and I was like, okay, there's a tag team. We got the Bulldogs. And I don't think anybody was expecting like a giant box full of 14 LJNs as the next part of this. But either way, I'm excited. And there's a lot more to get. I think total with these, plus the ones I have coming in next, I want to say like, that's only like a third of the ones I'm getting. There's a lot more to get. So we'll see. I know some people are like, are you going to get black cards? I don't know. If I can find them, I might. Like, if I found a black card and it was like reasonably priced, like expensive, but a reasonable expensive, I'd think about it. I'd definitely consider it. But if somebody's like, hey, you want this like black card Rick Rude for $1,000 and it's all messed up, I'd be like, oh no, I'm good, homie. Like, anyway, there we go. Super excited about this. I cannot wait to continue on. Excuse me, I'm yawning. It is late. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna get these guys packed back up, and then I'm gonna switch them out. I don't really pack things in sandwich baggies. I appreciate that he did, because, and that the Bulldogs were in a sandwich bag too. I appreciate that because they were separated, so you weren't getting like a lot of paint scuffing against each other. I love that. And I really appreciate that. I use comic book bags. When I do toys, I do comic book bags because they don't have any kind of crazy chemical or anything like that. So they're easy and they're cheap. You can get like a pack of 200 comic book bags for like $8 or $10. It's pretty good. But that's going to be it. I did the longer video. It was a bigger box with a lot of LJN, so it was a longer video. But thank you. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I am so excited to do LJNs. And yeah, that's it. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe if you like the video. You do not have to if you do not want to, but I always appreciate anybody who does. So thank you. And yeah, I will catch you guys in whatever the next video is.